Hey everyone, welcome back to HoloNet Marauders Live, HML.
Hummel.
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 Hello, it's Hummel.
Hello, Hummel.
We've got our usual suspects here today, but we have our good friend Scott joining us today, the lore master himself.
Yes.
So,
The lore master. Hold on now.
There'll be some
Yeah,
deep
yeah.
lore.
Oh,
yeah.
you
They were
guys are gonna-
afraid of putting us on the same show because we
Yeah.
might just go too deep. That's
I'm
the
a little
problem. Might go
nervous.
too deep into the lore.
My analogy was you can't start two shortstops or something. So we'll
Did
find
you
out.
see-
That was it.
Yeah.
Did you see the new type of shuttle in this episode? It was like a new class mixed with a Lambda class. It was so cool. It had a third wing, guys. It had a third wing.
I like
Third
the latch on the front that made it look like a mouth.
More?
Yeah.
We've had
And then-
that for a while.
I'm so excited.
Like, it has a slightly different cockpit, but we've seen the third wing in season 5 and season 6 of Clone Wars. But like, it's exciting stuff, guys. It's a new
Okay.
shuttle.
Now he's showing
Oh.
off.
So here's the deal. This is a Bad Batch chat for episode 12, Rescue on Ryloth. There will be lots of spoilers. I don't really think talking about ships is a huge spoiler yet, but whatever. So spoilers. That's the warning. Let's get into it.
Hey, we got a lot of cool people in the chat right now. Farm Boy, Millie, Kevin McNeil, a lot of local Rebel Legion guys
Well,
here.
local
Hey, guys.
friends.
Aiden and Chad, hello. But yeah,
So,
let's talk about a little rescue on Ryloth. So, I was wondering last week who was going to be the one to contact the Bad Batch because we all assumed, the Bad Batch was going to do the rescuing because why wouldn't they? It's their show, and I thought it was going to be Uncle Gobi. I didn't think he got arrested, but he was in the cell.
I was
They got
about to
him.
say from his jail cell. That's bold.
Yeah, they
I
sent him
said
a
from
cake.
the start it
with,
was going to be Hera because I'm like, these two little girls exchanged phone numbers,
Yeah.
and they did. So
I thought it was pretty
Yeah.
obvious that it was going to be Hera from
Yeah.
the start.
So
Well, I think
yeah,
a lot
it
of
was.
people questioned her place in the last episode. Like, why are we seeing Hera? I saw some negative feedback out there about why a Hera focused episode, etc. And it was like, no,
Negative
so
feedback.
It's
in
got a
Star
point.
Wars?
Here it is. Yeah, exactly. and I think it played out really well.
Before we go too deep into this episode, because now that Hera has been pretty integral, I'd say, part of the show in these 2 episodes. Before we went live last night, before the episode came out, someone in our chat asked, like, which first season of a show has been your favorite? Like, how does this rank against the other animated shows? Now that we're 13 or 12 episodes in, I want to talk about it a little bit because it ties back to the shuttle thing. Because after it was done, I actually did, like, it was like 2 a.m. and I was like, okay, well, I want to check if I was right about that shuttle. So I went back and I watched, like, a scene from the Ringo Vinda episodes, which is the Fives, like, stuff where he Order 66, like, it's the medical shuttle. And then I just ended up watching that scene where, like, they attack and they get tough because it's brutal. It's crazy. I'm like, how did they show this on Netflix? This is insane. It's horrifying. You see, like, a clone, like, suffocate to death in space. It's horrific. But then I was like, okay, and then I gotta check the droid arc because that's the other time you see the shuttle. And then I ended up just watching, like, a bit of the droid arc. And then I watched Eminence, which is the Darth Maul arc in season 5, and I was like, this is really good. And then I ended up watching, like, a little bit of Revenge of the Sith, and I just ended up watching, like, Star Wars, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I think Clone Wars, because last night I said Bad Batch was the best first season, and I was like, Bad Batch could be, but then I changed my mind. After watching, like, a little bit of Clone Wars, I was like, Clone Wars is just so damn good.
Clone Wars season 1 though.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I like Clone Wars
No.
season 1 enough, but not,
Yeah, I
not
mean,
more than this.
You got your Blue Shadow viruses, you got your Ryloth arc, you got your...
Look, I like the
know,
Blue
there's
Shadow
stuff in there,
virus.
man.
Ironically,
It's Rebels
No.
season 1 for me. It has to be Rebels season 1.
I'd have to say
Wow.
it's Bad Batch season 1 for me because I mean, like, going into it, this show was setting myself up. I was going to love the show no matter what because it's my favorite era, and like it has for the most part like delivered on like what I've been expecting of the era. And like honestly, like we watched like an episode from season 1 of the Clone Wars a few nights ago, and it's actually so jarring to watch an episode from season 1, but then watch an episode of the Bad Batch because it's just like the animation style alone. It
Yeah.
just
the
makes
animation
me
in
like,
season 1 of Clone
what's
Wars
going on
is
here?
like work in progress.
Yeah,
it
and
depends
for
on the episode, though. The beginning episodes are much worse than the latter
True.
episodes.
Yeah,
And
obviously.
you know, it's actually funny you mentioned that because today, for some reason, while I was watching this episode, I was thinking about just like how good Lucasfilm animation is currently.
Oh, yeah.
Like how, like I recently watched Luca for the second time, and I like did a bunch of other things, involving animation. And I was just
Beautiful
thinking
movie.
about, oh yeah, absolutely. But I was just thinking about how good Lucasfilm Animation is. It's like one of the top tier animation studios, I think, right now. And they're not really putting out like a lot. And I want their
Well,
animation division to like
soon they will, man.
expand.
Yeah.
So
I
we've
know
heard. Soon they will.
rumor has it, and I'm 110% down for
I
as
mean-
much Lucasfilm animated content as we can get.
Rumor has it, but Matt Lanter was like, "You'll see me as Anakin again," and I was like, "Okay, Matt, what does that mean?" Yeah, when?
Could I
Are we
connect
talking?
season?
Are we like flashbacks? Are we talking like? Are you just we doing straight up more Clone Wars stuff? Like, it's
There's
Yeah.
nothing labeled as animated yet, right? Like everything's live action that we're going to be getting.
Yeah, the only
Oh,
the announcement.
obviously
Well,
Visions was like the
Visions,
big
Right,
animation
right.
project that was coming up, but that's not even Lucasfilm Animation. So
Did you see that some of those stories are set after Episode 9?
not only
Yeah,
that,
that
the
was
twins. The
delicious.
twins is set episode.
some
yeah,
are set
after-
before the Phantom Menace, and some are set after the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
we're
pretty cool.
all over the place.
We're all over the place.
I love it.
We're everywhere.
Can I connect season 1 to this episode of the Bad Batch?
Does that
Yes.
have to do with
Yeah.
Gonki?
No. Oh gosh, we're not
Okay.
there.
That was
yet.
amazing.
Oh, God.
I
We'll
wanna
talk about that. We'll talk
Gonki,
about
I want
that.
to talk about Gonki, but I didn't want to jump the gun. We'll talk about Gonki. But no. Connecting season 1 of the Clone Wars to this current episode. Are you ready? Clones carrying crates. The
Yeah.
return of clones carrying
Carrying
crates.
crates.
That's like the stock like background of like the clones
Clones,
just
yeah.
walking around. While like Rampart and Hauser were talking to each other.
Yeah, they
There's two
walked by,
clones
yeah.
carrying crates, and I'm like, AJ, look, there's the
I
clones carrying
swear.
crates.
Dude, triple C's.
I
gotta
swear it's
get
like
Gonki.
a. I swear it's like a inside joke with them. They're like, "Oh, let's remember we did this way
Oh,
back when. Let's
on
throw it in."
Ryloth
Has
too.
to be.
And the,
Yeah.
and the Ryloth arc.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it's the Ryloth arc in season 1 when Anakin's like, "All right, we're gonna abandon this
Has
ship,"
to be.
and all the clones are just carrying crates.
They're carrying
With the
crates.
Snoke
That's all
episode.
they're doing.
So
It's just what they do on Ryloth.
love
it must be a
Ooh,
Ryloth thing.
Star
And
Wars
I
Santa.
really did enjoy all the callbacks in the episode too. Like they talked about the plasma bridge
Santa?
from the Clone Wars arc being down, so they couldn't go in that way, and some of the other stuff. I thought that was really good.
Santa's here. I haven't checked how I did on his. Every week, Star Wars Santa does a little quiz, like we guess before the episode, and I haven't seen how I did, and I think I did pretty well. I nailed a lot of the. I think a lot of
predictions.
like predictions. A lot of people thought that Hera's mom was gonna die, and I was like, no, she will survive.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
No, that didn't happen.
Scott,
I'm
you
actually
got some,
happy
I'm glad they went.
Praise
Oh.
on your wall there,
Thank
which
you.
is very epic. so.
That's not all of them, much to my while it's dismay. There are others, but that's the ones that are mounted right there. But thanks.
Those look great.
But yeah, no, like I guess just season 1 wise, still Rebels for me, just because I think for me it just had a little bit of everything. I mean, it had like a great season 1 villain, which I like Crosshair, but since he's sort of part of the Bad Batch, and there's that hope of like getting him back. He's not the true villain, and we had Tarkin for a little while, and we've got Rampart now, but no one's top tier villain yet.
I got a
No
lot
one's
to
up
unpack
there.
Good
about
point.
this. I got a
Rampart's being
lot to
fleshed
unpack
out
about that.
Yeah,
now, which I like.
I mean, we
I
had the
agree.
Grand Inquisitor in season 1, and he was pretty menacing.
He
We got
was pretty great.
a big
Oh.
lightsaber duel at the
Yeah,
end. So
Jason Isaacs is just so good in that role. too.
right, exactly. So for me, it's Rebel. I am enjoying Bad Batch. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
they
gonna see what
don't.
happens as
They don't
they
really
build
have
it up.
like a singular adversary at the moment. Like, yeah, sure, Crosshair is hunting them, but like, there's there's a lot to unpack with that development, especially with this episode alone. I don't really want to jump ahead into that yet, though, because there's a lot pretty much towards the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll dance around that for later. I guess in general for like Rampart though, Rampart really is like nothing to me right now
Wow.
because like
It's so
I'm
rude.
sorry.
Wow.
You're nothing.
Well,
Rude.
nothing
Not
to
me.
me. I'm sorry, but like I know he's supposed to be like the token Imperial bad guy, and like literally in this one, he's like the Hauser. Like, oh, what did you see? What
just
did
feels
you
like,
see? It's
He
just
feels like
like
Callus right now.
Actually,
It
he's
doesn't really-
to me,
Hey,
he's
scheming.
kind of like Walmart Thrawn.
yeah.
Like he's
Okay.
he doesn't have the art yet. He doesn't like that piece of it, but he is at least tactile. Like he thinks, right? He set up the
He's
false
camping in-
flag operation where Orn Frita died. We hope because that way it doesn't screw with Lords of the Sith.
No, he specifically
he
said
says-
in
He
this
specifically
episode
says, yeah, and there
he's
is some
making a
thought
full
that,
recovery.
that was not the initial intent, that the art was done, and then when
No,
the
I
dialogue.
rewatched it, Scott. He's living. You see him breathing. He's twitching
Okay.
on the ground. Last
Oh,
episode.
well,
couple
he's
puffs.
twitching. That's not a great sign.
Yes, it
But-
is. Means
Ah,
He's moving. He knows
he's
his
his
life.
life.
Yeah, the headshot maybe not was the way to go with that, but like
It hits his fat leku.
it does. He's
One of
his
his
third
fourth
fourth fat leku.
Like, what the hell is
Just
up with
hurts
that?
a little
I still
bit.
don't know what's
He
up
is
with
like
that.
he is a very strange.
Ooh,
I like this question.
yeah, that's a really good
Four
question.
fingers and 4 leku.
The
Well,
refinery didn't seem well protected at all, really. They
there
just
just may be, Aiden, because we still have that Star Destroyer on the Rampart Black Series box. I want to see it in the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
All right.
So if anything, they probably didn't take Ryloth as a big threat at the moment, but then probably after all the events that are happening here, literally their strongest opposition in Champs and Dula is gone. They're going to be like, well,
Yeah.
we got to tighten our defenses.
Yeah, they probably the first idea was, okay, let's destabilize, let's capture all their resistance, and then they'll be fine. And as soon as that fails, they'll probably start occupying.
We know canonically that Ryloth does become completely occupied. That there is a sector fleet station there per Lords of the Sith. That there is a Star Destroyer and some other ships that are stationed there because there's a whole space battle that happens.
So great job, Hera.
Yeah, Good
Yeah.
job.
It's all your fault.
Shall we get to Gonki, Jamie?
Yeah, get to Gonki. Let's get to Gonki,
Gonki's
guys.
sob story.
Gonki. Oh my
Like
gosh.
him, he's a member of the batch.
Y'all know that I love
He's
Gonki no
defective.
matter what, and I love how Omega is just trying her best just to like mess around with like fixing him, right? And then Hunter straight up like, oh, Gonki's defective.
And he just like
First of
he's
all,
like frowns,
Gonki's like,
looks down.
oh,
rude as hell, and
Yeah.
very out of
Yeah.
character for Hunter
it's,
because
it's
Hunter,
so weird.
everybody knows that the Bad Batch is defective. That's like the whole point of the Bad Batch,
Right.
defective.
Right.
But like it's like, why is that a bad thing?
Exactly. And then Omega's
No.
like, it's okay, it's fine, you're with us. And it's like, oh, Gonki
didn't really
belongs
like-
with this family.
I didn't really like the batch in this episode. So last night I came in pretty immediate reactions. I came in pretty medium on this episode. I thought it was it was an undercooked batch a little bit.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad batch. It wasn't a good batch.
It was a raw batch.
It was a raw batch. And I was like, yeah. Right. I watched it again and I liked it substantially more, but I still like last week's episode a little bit better. But
Agreed.
I feel like the batch themselves are just like the stereotypes this week. They don't really get to do a lot out of their little boxes they've been put in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hunter really had to play like the bad dad role this time around, like the disapproving father, the guy who says like you're probably the wrong thing at the wrong time, until he has his sudden fatherly turnaround when Omega comes and says, "Hey, this is our plan," and Hera gives her strategy, and then he says, "Okay, and you guys are going to go on your own," and everybody's like, "Oh, look at this growth moment that was really obviously going to happen."
Yeah.
But it's like
So-
that's the second time they've done that in a row. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hunter's being a real smell lord lately. Like he's being a big jerk.
Smell Lord.
He is. That's what he's being.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Omega, you can't come with us. Oh no, Omega, we're not going to help Ryloth.
Although
No.
nobody tops Tech for
Oh, yeah,
for being a
Smell
jerk
Lord.
to
Yeah,
everybody.
Tech is the ultimate smell
Yeah.
Lord.
And
He's
Aiden
really
brings
bad
us
in this one.
Yeah.
the lack of character development for him, but he just
I-
kinda
We
gotta
seems
get some tech.
he's vanilla. I mean,
He's-
he's gonna be like that. But
He's getting there, but like they're not giving him anything. I mean, like there's
He
not
had a
really
good
like
one.
much that like he can like do though, because obviously there is like the whole disconnect of he doesn't just operate at the same level as like other people to straight up talk to them. So like it's like more difficult for that to actually happen. Although like I do love every single moment with him in this episode, from literally saying to Omega, "Oh, children are silly.
I mean,
we shouldn't
he
listen to
does-
them."
He does have
to-
that sweet like Tokyo Drift moment. Yeah, with the having Marauder.
oh, that was
So
sweet.
good.
It reminded me of
He,
Poe.
like,
Oh my gosh.
He did have a little bit of development because it seems like he was going along with the plan. And when they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, I think we're getting used to this," and he's like, "Yeah, you're confusing them just as much as you're
Yeah, I
confusing me."
Yeah.
I wish we actually had this moment because he teaches her off screen.
It's
Hera
like in the
just,
background, yeah.
Hera just
they're
tells
just like,
Omega, Tech did this. And I was like,
Honestly,
I wish I saw it.
And that's
Honestly,
not the
yeah.
first time they've done that.
he needs like a solo episode where he's either with
yeah,
just
no,
Omega
yeah.
or
Yeah.
something else that forces him out of his comfort zone, his shell.
It's
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
one.
We
It's
need
season-
Tech's
Right.
walkabout.
Right,
We need
right.
that.
That's
It's
the problem.
still
Is it's
season
season one.
We got a lot of time to grow.
That's a season two. That's a season 2 episode. Tech's
season 2
Tech's
problem.
walkabout.
Well, yeah, we
Gonki's
need a
gonna-
Gonki.
Gonki will shine.
I think
We need a Gonki only episode.
there's gonna be a Gonki sacrifice at some point.
Every Bad Batch
Yeah.
member.
Oh,
No,
he's gonna have to
whoa.
He's gonna-
overload some
he's
The
gonna have his Luke
Gonki
Skywalker
episode is like
facing
season
the
4.
Empire.
The Gonki episode is like
I can see that. AJ. Gonki stepping out and there's a bunch of walkers.
Bunch of AT-ATs.
Dun, 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 dun. It says-
Oh, so make
to,
that.
to
Somebody make
circle
that.
back though regarding text development though, in this scene or in this episode, like Hunter doesn't want like Omega to be like doing her own like business at first and like doing whatever she's doing.
Hold
But
on,
then
before
like
you say anything.
wait.
Before you say anything. Do we presume that she won the holo chess battle?
Oh yeah.
Totally forgot about
I have a theory.
Oh yeah.
because she's on the
so-
mission. I just want to just go. Yeah.
I would say yeah, she won the holochess battle, or what happened was Hunter had to like resign, and so therefore she won. So
Why would Hunter resign? That's such
just-
a lame ending.
It's just
to
Hunter.
that.
Let's just be
As,
sober.
as you and Matt were both about to say, he's just being such a smell lord. Like he's
Yeah,
being
he
such
is.
a little dingus. But like
And-
if she won the thing, and she's on the mission, why is he being this way?
This is like the 20th time too, where somebody's like, "Come and join us," like join the fight, and he's like, not doing it. No,
because he doesn't know what he wants to do.
He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
he's got
doesn't
to
know what he
figure it
wants
out,
to do.
dude.
Also,
Exactly.
if they do it this early in the season, I know we're getting towards the end, but like that has to be the big, like rally up moment, basically.
Yeah,
you know,
we're gonna get-
there'll be episode 15 or 6, whatever, cowboy up and get the Bad Batch together and go rescue somebody or
So-
join Rex or whatever they have.
I think they're
do.
going to join Rex
Do you
Yeah,
think
at some point.
that by the end of the season we're gonna get the clone
No,
uprising, or do you think they're saving that for season 2?
don't think we're-
Well, we
I don't
saw.
think we're ever gonna get it.
Saw
You
a
don't think
spark
we're ever
of
gonna
it.
get it?
We saw
I'll
a spark
explain
of
what I
it.
mean by that.
We saw a little bit of it today, and I want to talk about Hauser.
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's gonna happen that way.
I
what
think
we
we'll
saw.
get
Yeah, go ahead, Jamie.
I think we'll get a blip of it, kind of like how Rebels literally like leads to their building their own cell, their own Rebel cell, and so I think that it'll be like that, in which we'll get like a small like subset of like clones
know.
rising up,
I
and then
think-
it'll be them coming together.
I am
I think the
110%.
Kaminoans
I'm
have been-
110% with Jamie on this one.
being set up for a big uprising with the clones because they have their own plans. What are
but
their own plans?
Their
There's-
plans are to stay relevant to the Empire. At this point, their machinations are still in the context of we want to get paid by the Empire. At this point, they're not like against the Empire. But in terms of the whole clone rebellion thing,
But they
and-
both have different goals.
and everyone heralds this clone rebellion in Legends like it was this great piece of work, but it's like one mission in Battlefront 2. And it's not even
Battlefront 2 is
like
a great game, dude.
But it's not even like Django clones. Like in Legends, cloning was so like messy. Like they started cloning other people, and
Right.
it's not the same.
Like-
But in this though, I think like Hauser doing this is going to give impetus for Rampart to accelerate War Mantle. He's going to be like, if they can do this, if you have the army that fought with the Republic for 3 years and they all snap out of it, they're not
Yeah.
going to be with the Empire. So he's going to
Right.
be like, okay, Stormtroopers now, let's
Yeah,
go War
that's
Mantle.
like-
Time to switch.
That's a huge part of it, War Mantle. Millie just popped in the chat about that. I mentioned it earlier, that the fact that there is an episode coming up called War Mantle, that entire project is the decommissioning of the clone army and getting like stormtrooper recruits in there. So I think that that's where this is going to go. And we have a motorcycle going by.
Uprising, though, 'cause in
Swoop
Rebels,
City.
and Rebels, Swoop City, and Rebels, Rex says that Palpatine like retires the clones, so they just get decommissioned. And I think it's implied that most of them just, they could be killed. I think most of them just go out of service and just age away.
Well, I mean, if
Yeah.
you're the Empire, you don't want this massive, well-trained fighting force just retired, sitting around out with nothing to do. I mean, that's
That's why
a
I was-
threat.
I always
Yeah.
did find it odd that in Rebels, it's like, oh, a bunch of clones out in this random like planet just called up, and it's like, huh, that's interesting. It's like,
That's
wait, you
weird.
just let them like go off and do their own thing? Like, what are
Well,
you crazy?
I don't know about that because I think as we're getting some more context now, I think those clones, especially Rex, was part of some sort of early rebellion that
Yeah.
failed.
Why
right?
would the Empire let them live?
That's
I don't
my
think
question.
I don't think
get
they
it.
did. I mean, I don't
I
think
don't
it was
think
like
they knew about it.
Yeah, 'cause Wolf was the one who was like, "Hey, Empire," and then and then
I
the
think
Empire was
whatever
like,
happened, and the Empire thought that they had done the job and
They had done
wiped
the
out
job.
whatever
Yeah.
this clone
Yeah.
rebellion was. But yeah,
I think
I, mean,
yeah,
I don't
go
think
ahead,
I don't think the Kaminoans make it out. I think that Palpatine-
Hauser? No Hauser?
No,
I think
No,
Hauser. I'm glad Hauser survived this long.
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
True.
I thought he was
I
done
don't
for.
think he's gonna last the next,
I
at least not to the
was
end of the
thinking
season.
Crosshair was going to take him out.
Yeah,
But it was
That was
interesting
very
that he let
intense.
him go. I was surprised that he was
I was too. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, arrest them? What do you mean arrest them?
It's
Yeah.
because
Hey,
he was
this guy's
listening
killing
to them.
civilians, and he's like, mm-mm.
I do
Arrest
like
us.
though bringing it back. It kind of connects to the Kanan comic and sort of really mega canonizes the way that like Kanan deprograms Gray
yes,
in the
Right.
comic. And I
it
was like,
happens. It now happens with both Kanan and Hera. Both
Yeah.
of them have like a moment where they're saved by clones who fight their programming, and I really like that
So,
Commander Gray and Hauser now are both in Bad Batch and both,
I'm glad that part of like that is officially a mega canon thing now that you can like convince the clones out of the deprogramming. And I
Well,
enjoy
it seemed like Hauser's chip never worked right.
I know.
At the very
What
least,
happened to it?
he always seemed, even before the that with his working with Chem Syndulla and everything, like he seemed like he was always a little more emotional, a little more involved, attached.
Yeah.
So was his chip always defective? Are
My-
the chips slowly becoming less effective?
I don't think it's that. My theory on that is because we know something like Cut LaQuaine, and I talked about this with the rest of the Marauders here last time. I want to hear your opinions on it. Though. Like Cut LaQuaine never had his chip removed, but he was just so far away from the war, he was never really around any Jedi for so long that he just was able to reprogram his own brain because he was living his own life. And I think that Hauser, because he was assigned to General Cham Syndulla and not a Jedi for the duration of the war, he never when it happened and he was fighting with the people of Ryloth. When 66 happens, it just doesn't land with him. He doesn't have a Jedi to be like, you betrayed me, because that's essentially why the clones stay convinced in their own minds. Like that's how they rationalize it, that they're fighting for good. It's like the Jedi betrayed us. But if he doesn't have a Jedi to really trigger that sense, then he's just like, I was fighting with you, Cham, and now I'm fighting against you. This doesn't make any damn sense. And so I don't think his chip ever really went off.
I always got the sense that Cut's programming just never took. Like he was that one out of however many where the programming just didn't take, and maybe his chip was effective, etc. I mean, with all the clones that you produce, there's bound to be one where it doesn't work, and so he was sort of the first. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they ever do address.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say, I wish they'd explain it.
There's like, it seems like they even had just the regular troopers, because so far we've seen mostly it's Rex and some of the Bad Batch and officers and like different clones who are not following good soldiers follow orders, right? But now it seems like even rank and file clone troopers were even like, no, this is wrong, and putting down their guns. And I was surprised by that. I didn't think anybody was going to stand up with them. And then when a couple of troopers did, I was like,
I was surprised. Yeah.
This is bigger than we thought.
Which is probably his squad, right? Like the people who worked closest with him.
I would imagine. Yeah, like those seemed like, I mean, nobody's wearing their colors anymore except a few.
Because it was like 6 or 7 guys, but the rest of these normal white clone stormtroopers still stayed with the Empire. And so it makes me think they had some connection to Hauser. And he says that. He says, I have to try with my squad. They're good men. And so that's what I'm thinking. Because
they all see what happens if they address it at all.
I'm looking at the clock here, and I got to step out like super soon, which is why Johnny's waiting to come in. And I'm like, I'm gonna literally just like tag out.
Hello.
I was waiting so long.
Hey, I'm gonna
How's it
do
going,
it. Tagging
Johnny?
out, like tagging you in.
Tag team.
Welcome, Johnny. Any last thoughts, Matt?
We're
Before you
tagging.
leave?
Yeah,
Hi.
there were 2 thoughts I had about this episode that we haven't addressed yet. One was that I liked Hera's message to Omega looking exactly like Leia's, where she's not even facing them, she's not even looking at them.
Yes, and then it even ends with like the
kneeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one is I really liked the moment when they present the plan and Wrecker's like, you're going to attack the Capitol. That was my plan. But it almost sounds like he knows his plan was dumb and he's calling their plan dumb. And he's like, that's the kind of plan I would come up with. And I'm terrible at plans. At least that's the way I read that tone. I'm probably looking way too much into that line. But yeah,
I like
those were just like the little moments that I noticed and I liked. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got. I like this episode a lot. This was probably a cap to my favorite episode.
Good arc. Good 2-episode arc.
Great arc.
Good arc.
All right.
Yeah,
Good arc.
solid.
See you, Matt.
Farewell, man.
See you, Matt.
Bye,
Bye.
Matt. Tagging me in. Tagging me out.
There you go.
There he is. Ooh.
Wait. Oh,
Yeah,
we're
here,
like.
reach through me.
Is he going?
Yes.
What is happening?
I've only seen this raw strength once before.
Oof.
So EMS, cool.
Cap holding that helicopter down.
Yeah. So we're going to see Hauser again this season, I think, right? Maybe not.
Yes.
I don't.
Well,
I want
Cham
to.
literally
I know.
says like we'll come like this. The fight on Ryloth isn't over. We'll come back, and so like I don't think they're
Yeah.
gonna like.
I think we're gonna
Get rid
see.
of
What's this? I think we're gonna see.
Continue that in Bad Batch though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see. I can't believe Rampart interrogate Hauser, and then
Yeah.
and then he goes, "God damn it, these clones!" Because his whole purpose as a character is to replace the clones. That's his like the driving force. That's why he ignores them. That's why he probably just dismissed Hauser being disobedient before. He was like, "These clones, like I hate these guys. Replace them with people." And so as soon as he has this proven incident of he now can see that they can break their programming, he's gonna have that interrogation. He's probably gonna kill Hauser or get Crosshair to kill Hauser,
Ooh.
No.
and then
Crosshair's out though.
send him
Crosshair's
to
going
send
on the
him
hunt.
send him to Camino to get reprogrammed or whatever. But then just be like, "Hey Tarkin, hey Papa Tarkin, War Mantle time right now," and that's
Papa Tarkin.
that's how it's gonna go.
What
Papa Tarks.
are we gonna see Rampart stay on Ryloth? Do you think?
I think so.
Is he kind of overseeing it? Is that like Thrawn on?
He might take Rampart might take Hauser with him back to Camino.
Okay, that's kind of what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, well, depending on the setting of the last arc or whatever, which I think is going to be Camino, I would say he would probably be either in a Star Destroyer or on the planet.
Ooh,
I don't think
on
he'll
a
be on
Star
Ryloth.
Destroyer. I think Johnny. I think that's exactly it. I think we're gonna see it's gonna be on a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, he'd be.
Like
I feel
an
like he'd be
Imperial?
overseeing this. Yeah,
The first
Yeah.
Star Destroyer.
Because it's on that damn box. I just
Yeah.
can't get over that. It's on the Rampart box.
You know what else
I'm
was on a
thinking about the
box?
box. I'm thinking about the
Ballast.
box, the Black Series. That's all.
Yeah.
Your
Well,
ballast was on a
That's
box.
true.
You are correct.
they can't.
The vintage
undo
collection, but yes, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Emerald.
We're already like trashing like the vintage collection, and Matt's like gone. That's all he
Hey,
collects.
I wish I got that set. I'm
I
sad
still
didn't
like
get it.
Ballast. I like Ballast is a better name. I think that's a better name.
I like Hauser, but
No
I
good.
like Hauser.
I like Ballast because we can say
Mm.
Baja Ballast, but
Ballast.
Aha, ballast.
it just
Did
works.
you say?
I have one over here too.
Yo,
I've been like
dude,
the
Wow.
excuse
I was
to
gonna
like show
get
it
one
off the
today.
entire
I
time.
saw the bottles in a convenience store, and I was like, oh shoot, have not had
There
one of
it
those
Yeah,
this
it's
summer.
popping up in stores. It's always fun.
That's dope.
Speaking of drinks and food in Star Wars, the Mailer
Right.
runs on the table.
Mm.
Yep.
I love like how they're just like chilling
Yep.
on the table, and like if you guys noticed, Crosshair did not use a toothpick this entire episode.
Disappointing.
Ooh,
I don't know
you're
what
not.
that
Toothpick count.
symbolizes, but no toothpicks
That's
to
all
be
I
seen.
come here to watch is to see Crosshair have a
I
tooth-
enjoy
toothpick,
how
and
he,
didn't have one. I
was-
was disappointed.
Sassily sitting on Rampart's desk. Though.
Yeah, just
when he
like
came in, he's just like, yeah.
waiting for him, and like
And you
Oh.
could tell Rampart really hates him. Like,
Yeah.
does
Oh, yeah.
not like Crosshair at
Like,
all.
that was like such
he doesn't like clones.
That was such an intense scene though, because like Crosshair is like impatiently waiting, and then Rampart's pretty much just like, oh well, if your crew can't find him or find Hera, then I guess we're gonna send someone else. And he just like looks at Hauser, and then it's like the awkward, just like staring at each other. It's like he looked at me, I looked at him, he looked back
Yeah,
at
it
me,
was.
and it's
It was like
what's-
Kylo and Finn
What's
almost
happening?
looking at each other.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That was a good moment.
Yeah,
But one of my
good
notes I
episode.
have written
This is a
down.
good arc. This is a good arc.
Oh yeah,
what I have to say
fantastic arc.
about it.
Omega and
Yeah.
Hera together are just like incredible, and we see Hera fly for the first time. We kind of touched
Yes.
upon that, but
Mhm.
I need
on
that
her own.
live action. Well,
On her own,
I
yeah.
need.
Well,
I
yeah,
need more
on
of
her
it, is
own.
what I should say.
I need
In-
that
in
live
action.
action. Yeah. How's that gonna happen?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's pretty sweet.
It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. I'm telling you.
What? What's gonna happen?
We got to experience Chopper's first war crimes.
yeah, that's right.
No,
And-
he's definitely committed
Yeah.
war crimes before.
Well, but like really impactful war crimes though, because like
no,
he
he flew a bomber in a
Yeah,
war. That
True.
guy, that guy was.
That's true.
He was a Y-wing bomber.
True.
There was
Okay.
some
Okay.
Astromech.
Okay.
There were some
So,
war crimes before.
We're just adding to the pile of Chopper war crimes.
I do love how that Y-wing
love
was
Chopper.
in the back of a bunch of shots. Like whenever
Yeah.
you're at the Syndulla home, it's like, oh, there it is.
Why don't they
It's-
clean that thing up?
Yeah.
Like,
'Cause it's where Chopper came from, you know.
it's special.
Yeah.
Let's like,
It's
let's just
special.
keep that
Well, for
car trash in our
Cham,
front lawn.
I imagine it's like it embodies the war, you know. It like represents what happened here. And for Hera, it's sentimental. Like that's who she's been with, right? Especially as after Eleni sadly dies and Cham just dedicates his life to fighting on Ryloth, and Chopper is like all she has. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
doubly so she
Yeah.
wants to keep it there. Whoa, Tokyo
There
Drift!
goes
Whoa.
Chopper.
Oh.
There
Onto
he
the
goes.
lawn. Aiden brings up, will we see Hera and Omega meet up again?
Season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sure hope
Yeah.
so. I mean, them together was like my favorite thing of the show so far. It was so good.
Yeah.
Season 2. When the rebellion is more underway.
Hmm.
The early rebellions.
And they make it out. They make it out of the OT and into the Mando
Nope.
kind of timeline, and possibly meet up too. So
Oh,
that's my
Omega?
That's my hope.
Yeah.
Omega,
awesome.
yeah, Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want her to just be like dead. So that'd be cool.
No,
Well,
neither would I. She's.
I don't
she's
want
I
her
think
to
they're
die at
building
all.
up such a great character.
obviously,
I wouldn't
but I
want her
just-
to die. Yeah.
I'm sick of these, like, not sick of, but getting these new characters just to die.
but who plays Omega in
in
live action so soon after she's introduced in animation?
Oof. Well, she'd be a lot older. So
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think she's going to be in live action anytime soon.
No.
I'd
who
like.
knows?
It's too early.
We'll see.
It's too early.
We'll see.
Usually they've made the switch with characters after a whole show is already done. And this is so early in Omega's character arc. And plus she's just so young. Like I don't know, we're not done with Omega yet in animation. Give it some time.
Definitely.
What's going
not.
on, Adam? See you in the chat. This episode made you cry. Interesting. It was
I'd
it was
like-
very emotional. There's a lot of emotional moments. Hera's
Thinking
mom didn't
about
die,
it.
so
Thinking
was
about it has made me cry. Honestly. You know what else made me cry? The fact that every single Twi'lek in that
Oh, that's fun.
arrangement had the same hat as Sue.
yeah, they all look like
Same
Sue.
son.
Just
You
not
can
pink.
actually see the kids in the crowd.
Really?
Yeah, they just
Wow.
reused the models.
That's still good though. That's awesome.
It makes sense. Levi, I went back and watched your guys' thing from last night. You did like your solo act at the end there.
I did. I couldn't stand it.
No, but
Yeah,
I saw you had
Dylan popped out. Yeah.
I
you
was
had
horrified.
Jedi Dive on, and he was talking about a lot of animation. I found that interesting, but
Yeah.
It's
He
good.
used to work in animation, I think.
I didn't
Yeah.
know
So-
that, so that was cool.
The show looks great, and that's apparent. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can do the solo. I enjoy bouncing off other people. That's what I can do.
No,
Yeah.
I was
PlayStation.
on a camping trip. That's why I was not there last night. So
I was just
home
so
now.
alone.
Camping again?
We need to get music in the background,
Yeah,
and I think
well,
I could
little different,
jive
but yes.
on my own. But just sitting in silence,
Yeah.
being like, "Hey guys," I was like, "Oh no, there's like 17 people here, and I'm just alone."
Millie's
Just
gonna
like-
pass away if she sees Omega in live action.
Oh boy.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That'd be exciting though. I mean, we saw the other
I agree
day
though.
Aiden was
Galaxy
there.
of Heroes. We saw like a more
yeah.
bubble game. We saw like the more live action
She's in
look
it. Yeah,
of her.
she's in it. Yeah.
So that was cool.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
a
can get it.
little different
That's cool.
animation. It's all
I
right.
want to see her get some armor or like a cool outfit. I'm sick of that
Oh,
same
Mecha.
outfit she's just
season.
had.
That's a
Hashtag
season two.
Omega.
That's a season two.
That's
problem.
season 2. True.
Like a
Yeah. They wouldn't do that drastic of a costume change in the middle of an animated show specifically. Like in a movie or any sort of live action they would, but in an animated they wouldn't change it up that quickly.
Yeah, you rarely get it. Especially, it seems like with where Filoni's concerned with his animation, it seems
Yeah.
like people don't switch until usually a season break, and then you come back in the next season and you've had a costume change.
Yeah.
Ahsoka went from the terrible tube top to like an actual outfit.
Yep.
Ezra with
You
the
know,
haircut. and all
Ezra,
that.
Kanan, like everybody kind of levels up as the seasons go along. It really is almost like a level up. Like, you level up and your armor changes and all that other stuff.
That's
So-
probably just easier for the animators, right?
yeah,
And-
exactly. You
Yeah.
have a consistent character model.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
less expensive.
You know what still bothers me? The fact that when they got the chips taken out, and they had the shaved sides on the head, it grew back immediately. Talking about character model.
Oh, it's been some time.
Hair growth. Maybe
Yeah,
they
we
had
actually
some
we
Now
still
it's
don't know
been
like
some
what
time.
the
But it does grow.
timing is.
throw some
I think-
Rogaine on there.
I think at this point we're coming up on like 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, now,
Are we? Wow.
but like,
My interesting
It-
question will be is if there'll be a time jump between season 1 and season 2.
I
That
think
seems
there's almost
pretty
always
common.
time jumps.
There's always usually when it comes to
I don't
the
think I can think
animated
of a. I don't think I can think of a Star Wars show besides Resistance that has a time.
Right.
Right.
Resistance,
I wouldn't-
Resistance is the
Yeah.
only one.
Some
that
of the
does
Clone
not
Wars seasons don't have a large jump between them because obviously there's only a 3-year window to work with, so you can't jump
Yeah,
too
the,
much.
the Clone Wars seasons are so confusing.
I mean, the
'cause
Clone Wars also just like jumps around anyway. So is there a time jump? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's episode to
All the
episode.
time.
Yeah.
it's super confusing with Clone Wars stuff because when you really dig into the logistics of it, like if you take the 3, it's exactly 3 years, which I think you can give and take that number,
Right.
and you start to think about like
Yeah.
the amount of days you see in the show, you start to get to the point where like I've seen every single day. It's like it starts to not work out a little bit where you're like, they've shown us if this episode is like, I don't know if this works, and there's sort of like nebulous time jumps, like when Ahsoka ages a little bit, or I mean, technically from the end of season 7, like between the like Bad Batch arc and Siege of Mandalore, there's like 6 months, but it's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wish they had always made the Clone Wars a little longer. I think 3 years was a little short.
I always, in my head canon, I'm always just like, it's like 3 and some change. Because in Revenge of the Sith, it's like, there's time passing here. There's stuff going on. Padme's pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
Revenge
that's
of the
it kind of
Sith,
bleeds in
if
at the
the-
end. So
The
That makes
novelization,
sense.
which obviously isn't completely canon anymore, but the novelization makes it clear that a couple months
A
passed.
couple months passed, but like in the movie,
Yeah.
it's like 9 days or whatever. And I'm like,
right,
I like
which
the
is
months.
too fast. Yeah,
It's way
the
too
months-
fast.
Yeah, it's like a week. It's so short.
I like the months. The months in the novel, Matthew Stover's Revenge of the Sith novel is definitely
but
Matthew Stover's novel is like the definitive way to enjoy Revenge of the Sith.
absolutely agreed.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Well, it's one of the things I didn't like about the from a certain point of views for ESB, like where they came down on how long Luke stays on Dagobah, and it just to me was like, no, that's too short. Again, it needed to be longer, especially when you've got like the Falcon doesn't have a hyperdrive, so it's taking a while to get.
Luckily,
point A to point B.
luckily those you can take or leave those from a certain point of view stories.
I had
like they're-
decided to leave most of them because I
Yes.
didn't think ESB was a very good one.
Hey,
Oh,
not the
I will
one
say
with
though-
the guy delivering the coffee. That
I
one's
will
the
say
best.
though, and this is very off track, but I think to tie it back to the Bad Batch, I think it goes to show how like shallow this episode of the Bad Batch was in terms of like in-depth story. Like it's the ballast, or excuse me, Hauser stuff was the only stuff you can really dig into
See?
that has
Yeah.
some meat.
I got more
Otherwise,
to talk about.
otherwise
you guys
it's
are getting
just
off
like-
the rails.
Let's hear
anyway,
it.
I do want to say it's in that book, from a certain point of view, Empire Strikes Back. I forget what the story is called, but it's the one. But the captain's name is Cannon House, and he's the guy who gets hit with the asteroid in the asteroid field in Empire Strikes Back, and that's like one of the best Star Wars stories. I swear, it's so good. It's such a. I love that short. He's talking about like, it's really cool.
Right,
It's a cool-
Get us back on track.
It's a cool
Yeah,
study
second,
about
second.
fascism, guys. It's cool.
Okay. On that note,
Read it.
so I love how Hauser's speech was pretty much Fives talking to everybody on Umbara. It was like pretty much like the same thing. We even had like I loved in this episode every time Hauser seemed to get like really inspired, the Clones theme would just like start playing, but it was like a
Yeah.
slightly like somberish version of it. And like anytime the Clones theme plays, there's a lot going on outside today, and I'm not having it. A lot of cars going by. Gonna make me cry.
That was it.
It's
Like-
it's the Kiner's world, and we're just playing in it.
Yeah.
My God, we
exactly.
are. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, like it was just perfect, like the way that it like came through. And then like one thing like additionally as well, like with like the music in this episode. So like I love the themes that go with Crosshair and the entire Imperial squad, the Elite squad, because it's so different than normal Clone Wars or Bad Batch music, because it is like really like aggressive and like in your face, and like I can't wait for like the second half of the soundtrack to come out, because like this back half of the season is definitely going to have more of that kind of music, and I am ready. I am ready to hear all of that.
More emotional weight in the music. Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be, it's very exciting.
All of that.
We didn't hear Hera's little theme.
We
this
did.
week, did
Yeah, we did.
Very
Yeah.
a little different though,
Very
right?
briefly.
Yeah.
It gets mixed into when she's flying.
Okay, right. Because last week
people
we heard it like 3
Who keep
times.
talking about it, and they keep going, why are they using Leia's theme? It kills me.
I saw that on Twitter, and I'm like,
You
what
see
are
people
talking
talk about that? I'm like, it's
Yeah.
Hera's theme.
Leia's
guys.
theme.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah.
I guess like some of the notes are similar,
last
but
week especially, people were like, whoa, they used Leia's theme. And I'm like, no.
But in other, it's like poetry. It rhymes. When Hera first lifts off the ship, she in fact does slide to the right and
Right.
slam into things just like Rey. Totally,
that's
Yeah.
totally Nima outpost. She pulls it and just starts hitting things while she takes off.
It was pretty great.
So good.
that was good.
Can
That
you
was
pull up
good.
Rural Farm Boys 2-month thing?
Ooh, yeah. Little
StreamYard?
disagreement.
So I'm going off of the Mantell mix, right? Because we know every
It's all-
time they
it's all we
complete a
have.
mission,
Yeah.
they eat the mix. And that was like 6 episodes ago where they had at least 10 missions. and I'm like assuming they're doing like at most 2 missions a week because a mission's a big thing,
Right.
From what we've seen. And so at a maximum, whatever, I don't know. So it's been at least there's like a good month there of time at least. And then when we see them in last episode when they're delivering weapons for Sid, I get the vibe that some time has passed. Like it feels like we're the batch, we're doing these missions. You know, Omega's sitting there, like she knows what's up. She's sitting there like with her knees out. She's like, no funny business. Like they're in the groove. Like they know what's going on. So I feel like even some more time has passed. I don't know. For me, I just get like I'd say 4 to 6 months is the range we're at right now because we've just seen.
I've been following Levi's timeline, so I will second that.
I think that's fair. 4 to 6 months.
I'd feel 6 is a bit much, so I'd lean closer to 4. But I agree.
Yeah.
In that range.
Yeah, I mean, we know the Havoc Marauder is. I mean, it's a decent ship. It's a modified Omicron, but like. It doesn't have the fastest hyperdrive in the world. And
excuse me.
If
Did
they're
you see
going
him
all over
push
the
it
place.
in this episode? Whew.
Thing was
What were they
moving.
doing in the beginning of the episode? They were just like floating in space, and then they got the message, and then they had to like jump back. Like, where were they? What were they doing?
They were
why
headed
were they
back.
just hanging in real space? Like,
What were they doing? We don't want to go back to Sid. It stinks there.
I think they were just on the way back to Sid. And
Yeah,
they got the
but,
call,
like,
yeah.
Why
They
weren't
had
they
to-
in hyperspace?
maybe they just had to pop out for a minute. You know,
They stopped for
reorient, and you can only do
different kind of
short jumps. Yeah, well, it's a
Yeah,
shuttle,
maybe.
so maybe they can only do certain length jumps before they need to drop out.
Yeah. Who knows? These are the real questions, but who knows?
These are the real
Yeah.
questions.
You know, fleet junkies.
Probably the
let us know in
unanswered
comments.
Yeah.
Either way, in canon, we know that within like a year from now, what's a little bit complicated. A year from now, at least Stormtrooper armor has been introduced, but like from the Thrawn novel, like those are still Stormtroopers or at the very least, or clones, or at the very least Stormtroopers with clone armor by that point. So, you know, it's like we got like a 2 to 3
badly.
we got like a 2 to 3 year window here where there could be both existing in the workforce. Because like, even then, like in the Tarkin novel, there's still like Venators in service, but like they're at the end of the run, and so, and we see in Fallen Order they're still like bringing in Venators to destroy. But like by that 5 to 6 year time afterwards, I think it's pretty much all been phased out. So we got to start seeing that soon. And we already have the full on Imperial probe droids and the shuttles, as I mentioned earlier. As I was joking about the shuttle, but they're starting to look more like lambdas, bit by
They
bit.
are.
I was a little annoyed about the fact that the Arakan probe droid didn't self-destruct.
Yeah.
When
I was very-
Hunter took it, I was like, I was waiting for the explosion, and that didn't happen, and I was like, oh,
I think he
Maybe-
got it too.
I
I think
guess-
he got it too fast
maybe.
because in ESB there's like a few shot exchanges.
Yeah,
And then Han
it blows
hits it,
itself up. Yeah.
And then Han hits it and it explodes. He's like, I didn't hit it that hard. Whereas Hunter just comes in from above and just stabs it in the eye.
yeah, maybe.
I was going to comment
It was
on
pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet.
I was going to comment on Aiden's thing there about how everyone got distracted so easily. And it's funny cuz like
Oh, us?
Girl- no, well yeah, but no, also earlier yesterday, Jamie, we were watching what was it? Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Great movie.
Great
Number 3 in the
movie.
series with
Love it.
Yep,
Mm.
great movie.
Wait.
So-
Hold on. Die Hard with Vengeance, is that the...
That's the one in New
Samuel
York.
Jackson.
Okay, yes. That is a
Yeah.
good movie.
So
With
Oh,
Hans
in
Gruber's
that-
cousin.
Yeah.
And
that film.
the Ents go marching with
Yep.
that?
Yep.
Yeah.
in that film, there's a big distraction, and everyone goes to rob the bank. So we were watching this. I'm like, it's the same plan. It's the big distraction elsewhere to go there. But yeah, I don't know how they got the
big
Empire's
drill
just dumb
guys,
sometimes.
The gold from underground.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
but
Yeah. It's kind of funny that the elite squad troopers, well, they will just follow any of the orders, so they are following at this point the admiral's orders, and then they immediately flip to Crosshair's orders, which is like without question because he's the commander. But like they are not thinking. They don't think. They just go and like do their own thing, which is what they're supposed to do. I think it also shows that Crosshair is more than what the Empire thinks that he is because the fact that he is like picking up on all of this while he's still like there. You see,
I think
straight
Rampart
up,
realized that kind of in this episode. Sorry to interrupt, but I think
No,
yeah,
you're
I can
good.
see that.
yeah, because like Rampart definitely noticed like this episode heavily that Crosshair is actively like thinking and trying to do what he thinks is right on behalf of the Empire. But like he's fighting. There are like two minds going on in his head right now, because like every time they would like literally show his face, like it would go through like 10 emotions and then kind of settle on a neutral one. But it's just like, what is actually going on in his head? Because like I think that there still is a chance for Crosshair redemption eventually, or he's going to sacrifice himself on behalf of the batch.
What's
One of
the
the two.
in there?
Well,
Do you think at the end of the
Miyagi.
season?
I hope
No.
But
no,
like,
I think
I don't think so.
I don't think so at the end.
I did think
So
that
long.
originally, but yeah.
that's long term.
if
he's a long-
War Mantle
Yeah.
literally pushes him out, then I think yes, he will at least like rejoin the batch, and then they'll have to figure out what are we gonna do with them.
He looks too evil.
He
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
evil,
He
yeah,
loo-
but
yeah.
that's what he
Empire-
looks like anyway, though. Like, it's just
The
what he
Empire would
looks
be
like.
dumb to push him out right now. I think he's too much of
Right.
an asset. Like,
Definitely.
I don't know.
Which is interesting because so Rampart literally tells Hauser, he's like, you don't think, I'm the one who's paid to think. Like,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
let me do the thinking. You just follow my orders. And he kind of tries the same thing with Crosshair, but I think to your point, he's realizes by the end of the episode, he's like, no, Crosshair, like he figured out the distraction. He's the only one really equipped to track down the Bad Batch. Like,
Right.
Clone Force 99. Nobody else has the intelligence or tactics to do that, because he blows them off for most of the episode, but then at the very end is like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I do need you.
And I never really put it together, or not really put it together, but it never really came up in my mind that they haven't been that's a poor way to phrase it, but they haven't been hunted this whole time. They just incidentally ran into Crosshair on Braca. It wasn't like they were being chased. Now Crosshair is permission to hunt them down.
Now they are right.
We're coming for you. Like, officially, they're being hunted by the Empire.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know, like, what's that going to do for the show?
They weren't a threat at first. Like, it's just, 5 people in a shuttle. Like, what can they do? But then, he made this point. He's like, look, you have a battalion of troopers here, and that's not enough. Like, I know what Clone Force 99 can do, and your battalion isn't enough. So if you imagine that you have a threat out there that a whole battalion of stormtroopers isn't enough to deal with, then the Empire needs to handle that.
Yeah. It takes the two conversations for Rampart to even realize that, because the first like bit is Rampart's like, no, someone else will like handle it. We don't need to like worry about them. It's just 4 guys. And Crosshair's like, no, but whatever. And then eventually, he's like, oh yeah, I believe you. Like, you need to hunt them down. But like, even though Crosshair is given permission to hunt them down, like we don't know how it's gonna go, because I mean, like Farmo just mentioned in the chat, like Crosshair never hit the shuttle as it left. So again, it goes back to he's missing every single shot at the Bad Batch. He lands all the shots at everyone else.
I don't know.
He hit it last. He hit
It's
Harris last
Crosshair.
week.
He can hit it. He can hit
No,
the
last
shuttle.
time he was tracking the ship. He knew he had a plan. This was, he heard the thing behind him. He quick snaps, fires a few shots. He misses, but like, he was still.
It
Snap.
wouldn't have damaged the shuttle anyway. I mean, it was just like,
Yeah.
Anyone in the galaxy can make that shot. He could have made that shot, and he had 4 chances to make that
No,
shot because he
Jamie,
fired
come
off 4
on.
of
Yeah.
them.
Come on. It was so
Excuse me.
sudden. It was in like half a second.
I
He had,
agree,
like,
down below.
He's the best, though.
He's
the
the
best there is.
best.
And
Like,
that's
the thing.
that's
Here's-
not how sniping
it's
works. though.
plot armor. Like he hits
Yeah,
what he
plot
needs to
armor.
hit.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think the way he hits his shot is any indicator to the way he's feeling. I think the facial expression thing is you have way more
I don't
validity
know.
than
He's-
that.
I
he's
think
fighting
I
it.
can agree.
I
Yeah,
don't think
I
that-
think he is fighting it. I think that was a little hint at that, definitely.
He is actively
Immediately.
fighting whatever that
No, 'cause
programming is in his
the
brain.
first episode, Omega shoots the gun out of his hand and he misses every shot at them. Like, and he was trying to kill them. Like, it's
And on
just a
Braca,
plot-
he missed them too, right?
Yeah.
this is a
Again,
plot armor
again,
thing.
that could
So,
be on purpose. But
okay.
again,
Why is he missing every single shot aimed at them? then?
Because the
The
story
bundle.
wouldn't. Because
Or
the
plot
story
armor.
wouldn't be
otherwise,
good.
Right,
he's
exactly,
hit it every
yeah.
time.
because otherwise he'd have headshot Hunter in like this, this 3rd episode, and this
Yeah.
wouldn't be a show anymore.
It just wouldn't be a show. Yeah,
Right.
like that's why.
Exactly.
One thing that
Why are
like,
otherwise- he's hit all
stormtroopers
his
super
targets, so-
accurate? Why are
Well,
stormtroopers
That's
super
not the Bad
accurate in the beginning of episode 4 when they get on the Tantive and like wreck the rebel troopers, and
Yeah.
then literally spend the rest of the movie unable to hit a broadside of a barn?
It's like the Family Guy joke. Oh, we got 3 of the 4 main characters on this ship. I think we'll be
no,
fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
I-
exactly.
Yeah.
while they're like escaping as well, Hunter looks back and he knows what's about to go down as well. So like I feel like Hunter's gonna try to make it so they don't die. Obviously, I think he's gonna try to save Crosshair in turn because like he knows that Crosshair will be following them, or at least trying to find them. And it's just so interesting with this episode alone because like Omega points out that Crosshair's there, and the way that she says it is kind of just like she's like, "Oh no, this is like bad news," because like Omega doesn't really know the full extent of She knows that Crosshair like belongs with the Batch, but she's never really experienced it herself. Just like the little bit in the cell of the I know what you're gonna do and you can't control it, but like that's it. That's all she's really experienced. But then like Big Dumbo Wrecker says, "Oh great, we have to deal with him." Like
Dumbo.
What's going on in his brain right now? Like nothing.
He just doesn't have a filter. Like, he literally just says whatever comes to his mind. He doesn't have a filter.
And then like it's just like it's interesting because pretty much up until like this point they like haven't like acknowledged it. And so like I think that the back half of the season here, back 4 episodes, will be just dealing with this, and then something's gonna go wrong, and Rampart's gonna be like, "We need to do War Mantle. We need to get rid of all these clones now." I
think Sid's bar is going to get wrecked.
I'm surprised it hasn't gotten wrecked yet.
I think Ord Mantell
Crosshair is going to show up.
Ord Mantell is the Gorel, the Gorel of the Bad Batch, where they're going to show up, and then they have to get a new base.
That didn't land. What's Gorel?
Gorel is where the Rebels are in season 2 of Rebels, and then the Inquisitors find it out, and they have to go get Chopper base.
Oh, okay.
Like they're just hanging out essentially in like a port.
I forgot the name of the planet too.
I mean, too. That's why I'm like.
And then they have to leave. Yeah. I only really remember it because Sarah Michelle Gellar, as the 7th sister, delivers the line of like, "We would like to join you on Gorel," and like she has this whole thing because like she has her little probe droids record them say Gorel, and
so
it's a good line delivery.
Next week we know it's called Infested.
Infested. Yeah. Can you pull up the thing I sent you, AJ? Because I think it
on Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah. I sent you a private chat and texted you during this, and you haven't. I don't you got it.
I'm occupied.
You're occupied, yeah. I sent you the So the Rampart box, and this is the prediction for the next episode. I think what Johnny said about Hauser being interrogated on a Star Destroyer, I think that's absolutely correct. Yeah. I think that's good. Here we're gonna pull it up here, hopefully.
A Star Destroyer it's gotta mean something. Like, so you'll see it in the back of
that ain't no goof. That's a Star Destroyer.
A Star Destroyer. That is a Star Destroyer.
Probably Ryloth.
Kamino, Ryloth?
The one where the finale takes place.
What's this mouse gonna be?
Yep, the one where everybody is. The one
Mouse vs. Skonky 2021.
You know, like
that's the droid fight we need.
Maybe next season.
That's no mistake that there's a freaking Star Destroyer on Rampart's box. He's an admiral. He's a freaking admiral, for Christ's sakes. We haven't seen him on a ship.
Yeah.
So like,
we're getting that. Yeah.
I think next week.
Next week, okay. I don't.
Either
I would
next
have
week
to
or
agree. I'd
say War Mantle.
I don't know how to read.
Go ahead.
I don't know how to read.
You know how to
Infested. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know how to read into Infested. Like, what could that mean for like just the course of the episode or how that's going to play out?
This is maybe like a classic Filoni. You had an intense 2-part arc. You wrapped it up,
right?
And now you have like a standalone episode, like something
kind of
gets
like a
into
bottle
the ship.
episode or something.
Yeah, something gets onto the Marauder, and they have to deal with it, or something gets into the bar, and they have to deal with it. Yeah, something contained.
Thank you, Jamie.
Involving like some space critter that they have to deal with.
Yeah, I was just thinking like maybe if it had a more emotional weight, but it could just be as simple as that.
So, okay, it's the level. Oh my gosh. So one of two things. My brain immediately went to like 2 Breaking Bad references when you're like, oh, it'll be a bottle episode like on the Marauder, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be the Fly. And I'm like, no. But anyway, that didn't land. So the other bit, I think that maybe Infested could be they end up going back to Kamino for some reason.
Who?
Whatever. Rampart.
Yeah.
Bringing Hauser and possibly the other guys, and maybe they use the word infested as the term for their chips aren't working. I don't know.
I don't know. I like that.
That's stretching.
I like that. I like that a little bit, but I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Give me-
mean,
That's good
Give
stuff.
me Blue
it
Shadow,
could relate to
baby.
Blue Shadow
No,
Virus. Who
no,
knows?
not
Did
again.
she, did
Blue
Genosee
Shadow
and Brain
Virus.
Worms?
Yeah,
No, you're gonna make
Brain
Levi
worms.
do the impression. Oh my god.
Dr. Nuvo Vindy. He's the best, dude. Yeah. Dude, I love him.
He's not as
Okay.
good as Meebs.
I got my medic patch. I'm good to go.
Yeah, you're
Oh
good.
yeah. Oh, we will all die. And he throws the
Classic
vial.
like
He
evil
goes,
scientist. Yeah.
It's great. He's got a thin head and he has a sweet hat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
the best. It's the
Yeah,
best.
He's a stud.
we'll see him next week.
Mhm.
Somehow.
What if? Oh my god. Yeah.
My
if he
favorite
was the
Star Wars
king.
All right.
Yeah.
Other thoughts about what we think
Dr.
it
Nuvo
will happen.
Vindy.
Next week, I think it's a bottle episode, as they say.
I would
Guys,
agree.
I don't think you know what it was like in 2009. I thought
I don't.
Ahsoka was gonna die that week. Okay, she got infected. I was horrified, and it's
Yeah.
brutal, and
It
they're
was
there
scary.
dying, and week to week, I was like, is she just gonna be dead?
You'll
Mhm.
be dead.
You know,
Spoiler,
Is he
she
dead?
lived.
A really,
Yeah,
a really
well, I
cool
didn't-
thing would be is
I
if
didn't
the episode
I know. I was there.
switched and was from like the Imperial perspective. If something happens, unlike that, like you saying the Star Destroyer, something gets on there.
I
Like
think
it'd be
that's War
interesting to
Mantle, like,
see
that's
their
like
other
a
side.
Weird
Yeah,
name.
it's probably War Mental
Mm.
to be honest. Like, yeah, you see it from
Okay.
their perspective, but I'd love a perspective flip for
It's
like
gonna
an
be-
So-
episode.
It's just gonna be rats in a bar.
Infested screams transition episode, just like how Common Ground Scream
Yeah.
transition to the finale arc.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's 4
I-
episodes left,
That
right?
seems very likely. Yep.
I'm thinking bottle episode, then a 3-episode
And the
arc.
3-part finale.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that.
I was thinking
Yeah.
bottle episode, maybe like a kind of feel good, lighthearted episode, and then you get the 2-part finale because it's usually 2 parts, like 3 parts.
I think it's gonna be 3.
Do you think so?
I only
It's a-
think
I think-
because we know the
I think
title.
it's gonna be a
It's
heavy
War
hitter.
Mantle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would I
Starts-
usually
starts, that's
I would agree
the-
with that.
Yeah. Because that's.
Oh, yeah, we
episode
didn't
what?
see no Boyle
13.
and Numa.
Hmm.
Or
No,
just
4-
Numa.
14. sorry.
Numa was cool to see. Numa
She would have been
Yeah.
pretty young still,
She's
right?
still very young. She
Yeah,
hasn't
that would've
aged
been
up
cool.
enough to join the Ryloth Resistance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We said
That'd be
that
fun to
last
see
week.
eventually, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did.
Because yeah, you think about it,
Definitely.
like it, you know, it's sometimes you forget like
I remember.
how soon this is after, episode 3. Like this is still only, like we said, a couple months later than episode 3.
Thank you, AJ.
so-
Geode.
Yeah, there was a Geode cameo, I'm pretty sure. So
excellent.
Mm.
Yeah.
That might
I'm
have been.
glad you said it on all of the accounts.
it does it
It
automatically.
does it
Yeah.
automatically. Just goes.
The power of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. On the palm
With
of
the
my
geode
hand.
stones. Oh, guys, we didn't talk about the fact that Omega literally refers to the Batchester brothers. Like,
Mm.
Right. Yeah.
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 Like-
Scott
I've been saying it
mentioned.
the whole time, so it didn't phase me.
Well, it's
Yeah,
we always
but,
call
like-
them the dad batch, but I guess they're the
And
brother batch,
I would always go to
Dad
the
batch.
Brad
the
batch.
bro batch. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I like the bread.
It's interesting though that she sees them as like family, but as brothers. Like I did kind of think there was more like a father-daughter vibe with
Yeah.
Hunter, but I could also see like older brother kind of a thing instead.
Oh, I like
It
that
That's
makes
book.
where it
makes
started to
sense.
feel like. That's where it started to feel like Mando. So I'm glad they're kind of turning away from.
Yeah.
that a little bit.
Yeah.
we know
that's
anything
a
about-
good idea.
about Chopper's clone pilot that he had.
I don't think so.
He must have
Not
been pretty
even.
wild, right?
Honestly, we probably would have found that out in the Top Gun Clone Wars arc, but it never came out.
Mm,
Yeah.
I
Give
bet-
me
I
that.
bet-
Oh, that's right.
maybe one day.
Yeah. Like, oh, what if he was
What?
in? Oh, true. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Hey, one day.
Hmm.
Wow.
One day.
Anything else? As I
Anything-
always say.
Anything else?
I got the entire batch in Funko form today.
Nice.
My last one
You
showed
got
up. It
them
was
all?
Wrecker. I got everybody. The entire
No
Let's go.
Gonki though.
I'm waiting.
don't
I'm
make
waiting
Donkey.
on.
They
What would
should.
a
Yeah.
what would a gonk? What
We
would a
should.
gonk Funko be like?
There one exists.
There's
It
a-
was
there's a gonk. Isn't
it
there
was
a
a
gonk?
set from
Gonk?
it was a set from Solo because it was the 2 fighting droids. And so it was
Yeah.
the one with like the buzzsaw on
Yes,
top.
yes,
I didn't
yes.
get it because
It was on like clearance. I wish I got it. Like a while ago.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Anyway,
What is
Ah,
like what
shoot.
models?
I'm just waiting for my Black
body.
Series
the entire
to
body. That's what
slowly-
happens to
Waiting
like the
for
other
tech.
droids.
I'm waiting for
Me
Omega
too.
to be
My-
released
my
or,
tech
or
got
get
delayed.
shown.
My tech got delayed to like January of next year. I
Yeah,
hate it.
mine's not
Enter-
Mine
coming.
too,
I don't.
probably.
I don't know where it is. I got it from
Entertainment Earth
Hasbro too, so
sucks.
it should be soon. I think.
Wrecker was the last to show up. He was
Entertainment Earth
supposed to
sucks.
come in,
I
like,
told
August
you,
or
Levi.
so.
I told you not to buy from
I
them.
thought it was good. I mean, I thought Entertainment Earth was
I
good.
told
Like,
you.
Is
I
that the
told
I
you.
had
droids
luck with
bubble?
them.
Meh.
I feel like I've been bamboozled.
Look at that.
They served me
I
well.
love that.
Wop, wop.
I love that
Wop, wop.
chopper.
I mean, they delivered my Bo-Katan find. I got my MCU. I got the Marvel Legends all
Their
good.
shipping is a little too much, too.
Here we
What
go.
got?
Oh,
Yeah,
look at
they
those
are.
guys.
That's the
Yeah.
Soul Gonk Droid Funko
Soul
Pop.
Gonk.
Yeah,
That's so awesome. They made a pack
Pretty
out
cool.
of that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's so
We made
cool.
a lot of duos in that line.
But yeah, I swear to God, I ordered I
Hmm.
have so many Black Series figures that just got delayed to like 2022.
All my
Sucks.
stuff with
Yeah.
GameStop is awaiting availability. It's like
That's what I'm
My
waiting on.
Wrecker-
Did y'all see the
my- all
Rancor
my stuff.
tease from HasLab?
Yeah.
today?
Mhm.
oh, how they
Mhm.
dropped it accidentally in a stream the day
Oops.
before.
So that's gonna be
Yep.
that's gonna be huge,
Oops.
That
right?
guy blew that.
Oops.
It'll
And-
be massive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Marvel
it a
Legends. Yeah,
Black
it's gonna be
Series
awesome.
Rancor?
It's
Yeah.
HasLab.
Yes, dude.
It's HasLab. So
Yep.
it's their
Ooh,
next.
okay.
It's their next
6
Oh
inch.
my
HasLab
God, it's,
project.
it's gonna be huge.
Six
It's gonna be
Yeah.
massive.
It's gonna be big. It's gonna be
They
big.
made
Yeah.
Yeah.
the vintage collection one in like 2013. I want to say
Yeah.
there was a
Yeah,
vintage collection Rancor Toys R Us
there's a
exclusive.
one.
If
But-
it's to
Mhm.
scale, it'll probably be like 20 to 24
Oh
inches tall.
god.
That
Yeah.
is too big
Easily.
for a
I'm
Black
still
Series
gonna
figure.
still
I,
want
don't,
it.
I truthfully, I
Oh,
don't
I'll
know if
get
I'm
it.
gonna get it.
Absolutely,
I mean,
I'll get it.
You think? Yeah,
I'll get it, yeah.
I'll wait and see. I'll wait and see.
Scott gets
What the perks are with it,
everything.
too.
Okay.
There are very few Black Series I don't have. so
do
that
you
I'll
get-
get a good amount. right
Do any
here.
of you guys get Legos?
You
No.
probably can't tell.
no,
I
that's
used to.
The
I would
UCS,
say-
the
dude,
trap
the
I
UCS
didn't
The
is
gunship.
$700.
I did get the
insane.
cantina.
I thought it was
did get the
350.
cantina.
It's 350.
350.
It's half that. It's 350.
No,
Where
they.
the hell did you see 700? It's 350.
It's 350.
I was told 700, and I was like,
It's
"That's way too
350
much."
and
By
has
who?
two really
Who is your
terrible
source, Levi?
minifigs.
I was talking to fellow Lego collectors about it.
You
and
can
they
go
were
on
like,
Lego.com and it is
And buy it.
350. It comes
It's
out on
already
August
ready.
1st. So
They listed
Pull it
it.
up.
Oh,
Yeah,
well
August
then,
1st.
I'm glad that's
So-
not true.
But
Yeah,
it's
so it's
still a little
350.
overpriced and has two
Pro-
terrible
I'm
figures.
probably
The
not gonna
minifigs
get it.
are not great.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mace
I would
Windu
rather-
and a clone
The
commander.
figures they could
no
have put with that.
pilots.
Yeah.
Should have done Yoda and a pilot.
The cantina
Yeah,
set though.
around the Survivor's
good.
Perimeter
The
Create.
Perimeter
I mean,
Create,
come
yeah.
on, like
Yeah, it was made. It was made for that, and for whatever reason, we
It
get a Mace
was.
Windu repack.
look at this. So like
Look at that.
350.
It's
like
a little
I'm
different
really
though. It's a
excited
little
about it,
different
but like
for Windu.
Thank Christ, it's 350.
Yeah.
I'm saying this to that person. That
Yeah.
person just flat out lied to me. Then
I'm happy that this week I bought a new desk for
Err.
myself,
Well,
which
look
was
at that
also
face.
350 bucks. So
Look at all the
Face.
crap on them.
And
yeah, the
and
Geonosis
same-
battle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
good thing
why.
those bugs can't aim.
Well, regardless, on August 1st, the only two
It
Lego
looks-
sets
it
AJ and I are
looks-
getting are the Havoc
looks good.
Marauder or the what are they calling it? The Bad Batch attack shuttle.
Bad
We're
Batch
getting
Test.
that,
Yep.
and,
And the Seinfeld set.
and we're getting the
You're getting
Seinfeld
Boba
set
Fett
because we've been
Starship?
waiting forever for
No, I'm
that.
kidding.
We already have that. Not
No,
the new one.
not the new one,
We already
no.
have that.
Yeah.
No,
No, I have the
I
old-
kinda
have
wish
the
they
old one as
would-
well.
I wish they would release just a regular gunship like
Yeah.
play set Lego, like not the UCS, because they're more to scale.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
You
know.
put the
that's what I
minifigures
want.
in them and whatnot.
I will wait
Yeah.
for that.
You don't
Yeah.
have a Lego
Give me
gunship?
a
I have
repack of the
Lego.
Clone
Did you
Wars.
see? Where did I post that
have
picture today?
I
You
have the
posted on
Clone Wars
Twitter.
Lego
You
gunship.
do? You have the Clone Wars one? Jealous. I used
Dude,
to.
I posted
have
on
one,
Twitter.
but They all broke.
My old one.
It's on my
That-
shelf at
that's a
home. It's
tragedy.
one of the only Lego sets I have left. I used to have so many. I had so many.
Did you have
We
the
have
turbo
we have
tank?
a lot of the ships
I
floating
did.
around.
I did have the turbo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rest
You
in
did?
peace. I never built
Yeah,
it.
Not anymore.
You never built it.
No,
Yeah,
it
I was
still
like-
has that
Oh.
box.
I forget how old I
Oh.
was. I was young. It was a big Lego. I lost like 2 pieces. I cried and I didn't finish it.
Oh.
Yep.
'Cause I couldn't finish it.
And then a few years
Shoot.
ago, we refound the box in his parents' basement, and we're like, "All right, cool." And then I pilfered all the minifigures, which Jedi Bob was missing, but I took the clones. I took the
No!
Yellow Droid.
Pour one out
That's
for
the
Jedi
best
Bob.
part.
I
Yeah,
know.
Bob is the best part of that
Oh.
set.
And I took
People
the
were
clones,
really
though.
upset that Jedi Bob isn't in
The
Yeah,
UCS.
they should
Why
have done
wouldn't you
that.
make a
Like-
new one? That drives me
Yeah, no-
insane. Oh.
Nobody knows.
Exactly.
Jedi Bob is iconic.
Millie, you have
Makes
the
no sense.
UCS Falcon.
The,
That thing's
the big
huge.
Falcon.
That's
It'd be
massive. I
such
wouldn't even
a
know where to
meme.
put
It'd
that.
be awesome.
And yes, Farm Boy, back here next Friday.
Yeah.
We were
Next
talking
Friday.
about
I
this,
don't know if you guys
actually.
heard me, but the Lego Cantina set is amazing,
Ooh.
and that's the
I
one I
love-
did get.
I want to get that. It's not. It's like $200 bucks,
amazing.
maybe. Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. We'll see.
I think a little more than that, but yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, I am waiting on
Yeah.
to go back to the Black series a little bit. I'm waiting on the Imperial Crosshair and then the Rex the Walmart exclusive.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I ordered the Rex from overseas.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm
See
still waiting
you
on this
next year.
last wave that came out because I still
This-
don't
this-
have the Lando and everything that came with that.
Morrising and all that.
Yeah. Did you get?
Yeah.
I don't have any of those yet. I got the whole.
I'm
wave,
waiting
but-
on them.
That's all just like
Waiting on
out of shipping's hands though, because the supply chain in general with shipping in the world right now
It's
is just
terrible.
it's just
It's
insane.
wild.
So, like it's
yeah.
nothing
it's
that
not
we can
good.
really do. Just hope that the pre-orders stay
Yeah.
placed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes,
Exactly,
to echo what AJ was saying a second ago, Echo. Also, I love how Echo literally was
Echo.
like, "Oh, a little help."
Yeah.
That was great.
Little help, buddy.
No, it's
Little-
Dylan. Dylan in the chat.
Oh, boy.
Dylan.
There he is. There he is. But
He's yelling my name
in
in
general,
chat.
for HoloNet Marauders Live, we will continue doing it to the end of the season. When the Bad Batch season 1 does
Maybe
wrap up,
I'll
we don't
be
know what
live
we're gonna
with
do.
them.
Might take a little hiatus after that, but we'll see. But yeah, for the season finale of the Bad Batch, we're gonna
you,
have a lot of fun
James.
stuff going
Secret.
on. So I'm just saying, we got a lot of fun
Okay.
stuff.
I don't know why
That's
it's a
all I'm saying.
secret. But
Everybody likes to
it's a
ruin
secret.
things.
How
Who
come
wants to
every
ruin
time
Says
I
you.
try to say something that's a secret, like the Landry Walker interview, you're just like, "Oh, we're having Landry Walker on," and I'm just like, I was trying to keep it a secret, so I'm keeping your secret. You should keep my secret.
Fair enough.
Keep
Or
it.
keep the secrets. All right,
And
then.
with
Hoping-
that, thank you.
I hope
Keep
everyone
your
had fun.
secrets.
Thank you
And
so much.
Bye.
stay tuned. See you, everybody.
The intros, Jamie. Why